A man sits in his room watching an anime featuring a character named Nishikata. In the middle of the episode, his phone rings. When he answers, his expression changes, his face turning red with embarrassment. The call is from his old friend, Takagi, who now lives in France. She tells him she has completed her studies and plans to move to her dream destination. Nishikata congratulates her and wishes her the best, but as the call ends, he quietly stares at an old photo from their middle school days 10 years ago. He smiles faintly, remembering the girl who never stopped teasing him. This is teasing master Takagi-san. Back in middle school, Nishikata and Takagi had been classmates. Nishikata was calm, shy, and easily embarrassed, which made him an easy target for Takagi's teasing. What began as playful jokes gradually became friendship, and over time, Nishikata realized he had fallen for her. After graduation, Takagi had to move to France with her parents, who were wealthy business owners often traveling for work. The farewell was painful for Nishikata, leaving him with a hollow feeling. He missed her teasing, which had filled his quiet days with warmth. Years passed. Nishikata now works as a part-time teacher with a modest income. He often takes extra duties, cleaning classrooms or running errands for the principal, Tanabe. Life feels routine until one day, he receives news that Takagi has returned to Japan. The thought brightens his mood. The trees along his walk to work look greener, and even his students' smiles seem livelier. Soon after, Principal Tanabe informs him that a new trainee teacher will be joining to teach art classes for the next 3 months. Nishikata is asked to train her. He tries to refuse, but Tanabe insists. Frustrated, Nishikata decides to tidy up the school to ease his mind. While cleaning, he notices someone entering the hallway. It is Takagi, the same person who had called him. Surprised, Nishikata asks why she is there. Takagi explains that she will be teaching at the school temporarily as a trainee. He realizes that the new teacher Tanabe mentioned is her. Seeing his stunned expression, Takagi smiles and walks toward him, making his heart race with every step. Later that day, after school ends, Takagi invites Nishikata to visit a place they used to go together. Standing there, she observes how little has changed over the years, including him. She teases him again, asking if he still likes anime. Embarrassed, Nishikata blushes. Takagi takes out a pair of headphones and offers one side to him. A familiar melody begins to play, the same song they once listened to together, quietly reconnecting two hearts that had never drifted far apart. That evening, Nishikata attends a small gathering hosted by his friend Nakai, who will be married in a few days. Takagi joins as well, since she was once their classmate in middle school. The night feels light and nostalgic, filled with stories from the past. Before leaving, Nakai reminds Nishikata about the wedding the next day. As the event ends, Nishikata and Takagi realize they live along the same route, so they decide to walk home together. The street is quiet, and their conversation turns more personal. Takagi suddenly asks if Nishikata has ever been in love. Nervous and unsure, he admits that he has. Takagi stops walking and says they will part ways at the next intersection. Before leaving, she asks him to close his eyes for a moment. The next morning, Takagi starts her first day as a trainee teacher. Nishikata accompanies her, as instructed by Tanabe. From the beginning, Takagi wins over the students. Her calm manner and friendly smile make her instantly popular. After school, Nishikata visits a student's house to deliver study materials. The student, Machida, had stopped attending classes because of social anxiety. Nishikata explains to Takagi that he visits Machida often to help him keep up with lessons. He expects nothing in return, doing it purely out of responsibility and care. Impressed by his dedication, Takagi suggests they visit the shrine they used to go to as students. At the shrine, Takagi opens up about her time in France. Life there, she admits, was not as fulfilling as she had hoped. She missed Japan, her friends, and especially the moments she once shared with Nishikata. Standing in the quiet evening air, she smiles and says she's happy to relive those memories. Nishikata listens silently, realizing how much she still means to him. For a brief moment, he imagines a future where they grow old together, side by side. The thought warms him more than he expects. The next day, Nakai's wedding takes place. Nishikata joins the celebration along with their old classmates, including Takagi. When the bride tosses her bouquet, Takagi catches it, drawing cheers from the crowd. Watching her, Nishikata drifts into another quiet daydream. He imagines himself marrying her one day, and the thought makes him smile. His reverie ends when a friend teases him for spacing out again. Later, as Nishikata hands Nakai his wedding gift, Nakai laughs and asks if he ever gets tired of being single. He points out that Takagi's feelings have always been obvious, reminding him how often she teased him back in school. Nishikata shakes his head and insists it was all in good fun, though his eyes suggest a quiet uncertainty he cannot hide. Moments later, an accident occurs when Takagi's bouquet slips from her hand and falls into the swimming pool. Without thinking twice, Nishikata dives in to retrieve it, surprising everyone around. A moment later, Takagi jumps in too, touched by his spontaneous act. Both emerge soaked, laughing instead of feeling embarrassed. Takagi teases him about jumping in just to save her bouquet, her laughter echoing across the poolside. Later, as they walk home, the mood turns quiet but comfortable. Their eyes meet every so often, and each glance carries unspoken thoughts. Breaking the silence, Takagi asks if Nishikata has a girlfriend. He admits he does not, saying it feels unlikely for him. Curious, he asks the same of her. With a small smile, Takagi tells him to guess. Nishikata assumes she must have had many admirers over the years. To his surprise, she says she hasn't dated anyone in the past decade. Blushing, Nishikata gathers his courage and invites her to watch the fireworks festival with him. He says it might be simple, but he has always wanted to see the fireworks together. Takagi agrees, her smile soft and sincere. They continue walking side by side, both feeling quietly content. A few days later, Takagi encounters Machida at the pier. The boy sits alone, painting the calm view before him. Remembering Nishikata's words, she approaches gently and greets him. At first, Machida seems shy and withdrawn, but when she mentions Nishikata's name, his face brightens. He speaks about how kind and patient Nishikata has always been, never giving up on him even when things were difficult. He recalls Nishikata once telling him that school is not the only place to find success, and that if painting brings joy, he should keep doing it. Those words, Machida says, are why he continues to paint today. Later that week at school, Takagi notices a familiar face watching from afar, the same girl who had been standing near the pier. Her name is Ozeki. She approaches Nishikata and asks to speak with him privately. With a heavy tone, Ozeki confesses that she was the reason Machida stopped coming to school. Some time ago, she had confessed her feelings to him, but after that day, he never returned. When she tried visiting his house, he refused to see her. Since then, Ozeki has carried guilt, believing she drove him away. After listening, Nishikata advises her to stop blaming herself. He explains that not everything in life can be understood so easily. There might be another reason Machida withdrew, and if she truly feels guilty, the best thing she can do is face him and speak honestly about her feelings. Meanwhile, Takagi brings Machida to a small shrine on a hill near the school. She asks if he has ever visited before. Machida nods and admits he has, though it wasn't by choice at the time. As he paints the view, he begins to open up. He reveals that he didn't quit school because of financial problems, but because he was afraid to face Ozeki. Her confession had caught him off guard, and he felt unworthy of being loved. Takagi listens quietly, then tells him that being loved by someone is not a burden but a gift. Avoiding those feelings, she says, only leads to more regret. Encouraged by her words, Machida thanks her and decides to return to school. Deep down, he realizes he never saw Ozeki's confession as a burden. In truth, he has always liked her too. The next day, Machida walks back into school with renewed determination. He joins the choir alongside Ozeki and begins attending classes again. During break time, he asks to speak with her alone. Though nervous, he starts the conversation by listening as Ozeki apologizes. She says she regrets making him uncomfortable and believes her confession was what pushed him away. Machida quickly denies it. He explains that he wasn't burdened by her words, only unsure how to respond to them. He apologizes for running from his feelings and finally tells her that he feels the same way. Watching from a distance, Nishikata feels a quiet sense of admiration for both of them. Seeing their courage makes him reflect on his own hesitation. Later, he goes to Tanabe and asks if people should confess their feelings when they like someone. Tanabe answers simply that they should. Keeping emotions hidden only leads to regret. Sometimes, the chance to speak up disappears forever if fear wins. Hearing this, Nishikata begins to understand that love is not something to hide, but something worth the risk. That night, Nishikata waits for Takagi at the entrance of the fireworks festival. His heart beats fast, as if this is the first real date of his life. Moments later, he freezes in awe when Takagi arrives, wearing a simple yet elegant kimono and a gentle smile. Together, they enter the festival and spend the evening walking through the lights and sounds, enjoying each other's company as if no time has passed. When the fireworks begin, Nishikata looks up at the sky and quietly says it is beautiful. Then, glancing at Takagi, he adds that something else is even more beautiful, her smile. He thanks her for all the teasing she used to do, saying those moments made his once quiet life feel alive. Without her, he might never have learned to open up. Before they part, he mentions that the day after tomorrow will be her last day at the school. He wishes her happiness wherever she goes. Takagi smiles softly, her expression filled with warmth and meaning. The next day, Takagi begins saying goodbye to her students and to Tanabe. The atmosphere feels bittersweet. Watching this, Nakai scolds Nishikata, warning him that if he stays silent, he will regret it for the rest of his life. As Takagi prepares to leave, Machida calls out to her and asks to talk. He tells her how much better his life has become since he confessed his feelings to Ozeki. Seeing how close she and Nishikata are, he says they should be together too. Hearing this, Takagi finally admits the truth. She has been in love with Nishikata for a long time. 10 years is a long time to keep such feelings hidden. She explains that she had already confessed to him several times back in middle school, but he never realized it. Machida smiles and says her hints were probably too subtle. He encourages her to express her feelings clearly so Nishikata can truly understand them. Encouraged by his words, Takagi goes to find Nishikata in his classroom. As she steps inside, memories from their middle school days rush back. 10 years ago, they had stood in that same place, laughing under the blue sky as if the world had stopped for them. She realizes how precious his smile has always been. Breaking the silence, Nishikata asks if she has something to say. When she hesitates, he continues. He admits that her presence has filled an emptiness in his heart all these years. Her teasing, once an annoyance, became something he learned to treasure. After she left, he tried to fill that void, but nothing ever worked. In the end, he realized that the reason his life felt complete was because of her. With quiet courage, Nishikata finally confesses that he has loved Takagi for the past 10 years. His voice trembles, but his words are clear. Takagi remains silent for a moment, then gently reaches out her hand toward him. She explains that love often feels complicated, but that confusion only exists when people are too afraid to face it. Now that Nishikata has spoken his truth, she tells him she feels the same. She too has loved him for the past 10 years. A few days later, Nishikata invites Takagi back to the school. Together, they enter the choir room where Ozeki and the students are waiting. Ozeki apologizes for not giving her farewell message earlier and says that the song they are about to perform is a gift to accompany Takagi on her next journey. As the students begin to sing, memories fill Nishikata and Takagi's minds. The melody is the same farewell song from their own graduation years ago. Every moment returns in vivid flashes, from their first meeting and Takagi's teasing to the bittersweet day they parted. It feels almost unreal that the quiet affection they once hid for so long has grown into something so genuine. Their love, pure and constant, has endured time and distance. It has finally found its destination in marriage. The promise they once kept unspoken is now sealed in a lasting bond, a certainty that their hearts belong to each other. Years pass, and their life together continues to blossom. Nishikata and Takagi are blessed with a daughter who brings laughter into their home. Nishikata leaves his teaching job to help manage Takagi's father's business, but even with the changes around them, their bond remains the same. They never forget the place where their story began, where two hearts once met and quietly became one forever. The end. So the moral of the story is if someone keeps teasing you for 10 years straight, they're probably in love with you, so stop overthinking and just confess already before you end up saving flower bouquets for emotional closure.